nearlydanish.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble.
We're doing frequently asked questions part 1. So these are the questions that have the highest probability of showing up on the next test. You just saw this. So hopefully you guys get this right. All right, so 3 people got this wrong. Every single question in this Kahoot tonight, you most definitely need to know the answer to every single one of these questions, because these are the questions that have the highest probability of showing up on the next test. So please keep that in mind. Round of applause for the 53 people that got this right. And only 4 people got this wrong. So women got the right to vote in 1915. That's the most important date apparently. So please remember that. On to the next one. All right. All right, 6 people got this wrong. So World War II ended in 1945. The United Nations was created, and Denmark joined the United Nations the same year that it was created. So 1945, the year that Denmark joined the United Nations, is the second most important date that you definitely need to know. So keep that in mind. For the people that got this wrong, 6 of you that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. I'll also say this. If you're not doing well, don't beat yourself up. Okay? So the Kahoot is just to point out your knowledge gaps. Also, when I say practice with those quizzes, when you fail a question, it just shows you what you don't know, and then it tells you what the answer is, so that when you take the quiz again, you can plug that knowledge gap. That's all this is. Okay? So you have about 2,000 questions that you need to know the answers to. And if you know the answers to those 2,000 questions and you go in the exam and they give you 45 of those questions, you're definitely going to pass the exam. There's a guy, I think I showed it to you guys the last time, and I'll do it again later on. But he didn't read the book, he did the quizzes, he got 100%. From the last session, May 2023, there was a bunch of people that got 100%. All right, we're moving on to the next one. All right, I'm already seeing some names, some familiar names. All right, so I can see this is a weak spot. 25 people got this wrong. So there's a section in the book that talks about the rights that are protected in Grundloven. Grundloven was, I'm not going to say the dates, so because it's actually going to be probably the next question. But Grundloven was created sometime in the 1800s, and in Grundloven you have basically it's the law that the country is built on. And in that law, there's several rights that are protected. What I would recommend is that you go and you make a list of all those rights, because there could be a question about any single one of those rights. Sometimes it's the right to private property, sometimes it's the other rights of freedom of expression, so on and so forth. So keep that in mind. All right, this was a reshuffle of the top 5. LA is the highest climber, up 22 places. Wow.
job.
Okay. Someone is asking, how many questions do we need to get right out of 45 questions? Okay, so you need to get 36 questions out of those 45 questions correct, out of which you need to get at least 4 out of 5 of the Danish values questions correct. So that means that if you get 100% on the history section and the current affairs section, and you only get 3 Danish values questions correct, you fail the test. Okay? But, like I said before, do not be afraid. It's straightforward. We will get to the Danish values questions later on. If you can't wait, there is a video on the YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search Nearly Danish TV. Click on that, look in the videos, you'll see there where I explain. All right, on to the next one. All right, this is also a weak spot. So this is the 4th most frequently asked question. So it has a high probability of showing up in the next test. So a minister does not have to be a member of parliament to be appointed a minister. An example was Tommy Allers. He was a minister in Lars Løkke's government in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And however, usually ministers are members of parliament. And if a minister is not a member of parliament, then he cannot vote in when they're voting for or against proposals in the parliament. All right, so this is a weak spot for you guys. Now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap so that when you definitely see this again, you will know the answer. All right, so it looks like the top 5 keeps getting reshuffled, but Luca holds that number 1 spot. OMO is the highest climber, up 13 places.
Excellent.
All right, next one. All right, so I actually thought more people were going to fail this, but only 9 people got this wrong. So 1807, England bombarded Denmark, and this was in connection with the Napoleon Wars. And they didn't want Denmark to use their fleets. I can't remember exactly what the details are, but this was during the Napoleon Wars time. England bombarded Denmark. And actually, when you go to Rosenborg, the castle close to Nordport, if you walk down the wall that's opposite the botanical gardens, and you just keep looking up, you will see a cannonball in the wall. And that cannonball is actually from 1807. And just beneath the cannonball, you will see the date 1807. And if you can check that out, check that out. All right, we're moving on to the next one. Okay, static top 5. Ghosh is the highest climber. At the moment, we've got Luca, Katarina, Mango, LA, and RA. Next one. Another date. All right, so 9 people got this wrong. Round of applause for the people that got it right. Okay, so in 1972, there was a referendum on whether or not Denmark should join the EU. Majority of people voted yes, and in 1973, Denmark joined the EU. It was called EF back then, Europæisk Fællesskab. All right, now on to the next one. Luca's still holding that #1 spot.
Great job.
Krish is the highest climber, up 8 places.
Excellent.
What else is going on here? Not much. Next one. Wow. Only one person got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. Okay, so when the police arrest you, they can hold you for a maximum of 24 hours before they put you in front of a judge. All right, now you know what you don't know for that one person. Please plug that knowledge gap. I can see that the rest of you know that information. All right, next one. Another important date. All right, so Grundlovs Day is the 5th of June every year. So I was about to give you the date again, but I'm not. Let's see if that date shows up. So Grundlovs Day is 5th of June every year. Next one. Only 4 people got that wrong. Now you know what you don't know for the 4 of you. 3 in a row. Junior is back in the game, and
Oh my, he's on fire.
all right, Luca is still holding that #1 spot, and I think he's got 8 out of 8 questions.
Perfect score.
All right, next one. All right, so from the 1300s, can't remember exactly what year it was, Margaret I created the Kalmar Union, and it was a union between Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. And sometime in the 1500s, Sweden left that union, but Norway stayed in that union with Denmark until 1813 or 14, if I'm not mistaken. 8 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Every single one of these questions is a question that you need to know the answer to. This is part 1 of the frequently asked questions. There are about 4 parts. All those parts are actually on the website. So what I would recommend is after we're done tonight, go to the website and practice with those quizzes there. Because you are most definitely going to see some of those questions in the next test. All right, next one. Yes, 1397 and 1523. Tanka is back here again. All right. Okay, so we got Luca, Mango, Nikki, Anna, and LA. Next question. Jimmy is back in the game 3 in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my, he's on fire.
Next one. All right, so 19 people got this wrong. So the Social Democratic Party has always been connected with the workers. And in the 1870s, it was part of Arbeidersbevægelsen, which is the workers' movement. And it's not coincidental. Actually, most of the people that vote for the Social Democrats work in the public sector. So that's been the trend since the 1800s. And yeah, there's not much else to say about that. Keep in mind, the party that's connected to the workers is the Social Democrats. The party that's connected with the farmers is Venstre. So keep that in mind. On to the next one. Okay, so Luca made a mistake and fell right out of the top 5. Sorry, man. Okay, so Mango took the number 1 spot. Katerina is at number 2, Anna at number 3. That's the podium. LA is at 4 and RA is at 5. 3 players have reached an answer streak of 4.
Excellent.
We at question number 10. We still have 35 questions to go. Another important date. Okay, so I'll give a bit of a background on this. So in 1864, Denmark lost the Second Schleswig War. And when they lost that war, they lost a whole bunch of territory in Jutland. So the area called Jutland now was lost by Denmark. And Germany, they lost that war to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which was basically Germany and Austria combined with Hungary. And in 1920, after the Austro-Hungarian Empire lost the First World War, Denmark had the opportunity to reunite with Jutland. So in Jutland, there is a small population of Germans. And in North Schleswig, which is the northern part, the most northern part of Germany on the border to Denmark, also has a small population of Danes. And there has been some referendums around that area. All this information is in the book, so I would advise you to actually have a look. All right, we're moving on to the next one. Okay, so this was, well, kind of reshuffled the whole top 5. Samar is back in the game 3 in a row.
She's on fire.
All right. We've got Anna, R.A., Katerina, Dracula, and M.N. Okay, so we have 34 questions to go. You saw this in the last Kahoot. Oh man, I thought you guys got this right. Anyways, only 4 people got this wrong. There are 3 major elections in this country, okay? Folketing, which is the parliament elections, happens once every 4 years. The last one happened last year. Regional and communal elections also happens once every 4 years. The last one happened, I can't remember actually. But they usually always happen in November, basically the end of the year. And then the European Parliament election. Thank you, Claudia. The last communal and regional happened in 2021. The European Parliament elections happens once every 5 years. So there could be questions about any one of these elections. Other questions that could come out about the elections are the participation, so the voters' participation. Folketing is always up there. It's the highest. It's between 80 and 90% of the registered voters come out to vote. The second highest is regional and communal, and the lowest is European Parliament. All right, we're moving on to the next one. By the way, round of applause, you guys did well on this. All right, Kurum, well done. You have an answer streak of 10. Good job, man. Someone fell out of the top 5, can't remember who. Davis has a streak with 12 correct answers in a row.
Wow!
Perfect score.
Okay, and Davis is on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, next one. Okay, so 8 people got this wrong. I will repeat this again. This Kahoot we're doing right now is the most frequently asked questions, part 1. Okay, so you need to know the answers to every single one of these questions. By the way, forgive me if I sound like a broken record. Okay, but I have to sound like a broken record because the brain learns by repetition. So you're going to hear me saying the same thing over and over and over and over again. You might get annoyed with it. I'm sorry about that. But I have to keep saying the same thing over and over again. Okay? You need to know the answers to every single one of these questions. There's about 184 of them. When we're done with this, please go to the site and practice. So Niels Bohr won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1922. So this is another very important date for Denmark. He won the Nobel Prize in Physics for the model of the atom. You're probably going to see this again. I think this showed up in the May 2023. Can't remember exactly, but this shows up a lot. All right. Next one. Katerina fell out. Sorry about that. Dracula took her place. Anna is holding that #1 spot still. Luca is back with an answer streak of 3. And
Oh my! He's on fire!
he's on fire. On to the next one. We talked about this in the previous Kahoot. Okay, so there's 179 members in parliament. Okay, 175 of those members are from Denmark, 2 are from Greenland, and 2 are from the Faroe Islands. As you can see, this is a frequently asked question. Those questions, the questions about the Greenland and Faroe Islands is going to show up as well. Moving on to the next one. Okay, RK is the highest climber, up 5 places.
Excellent.
All right, so Højesteret, so that's the equivalent of the Supreme Court. So you've got, I think it's 3 groups of courts. So you've got the Højesteret, Landslide, and Bureau. I think there's 24 Bureau, 2 Landslide, and 1 Højesteret. And you can appeal from Bureau to Landslide. You can appeal from Landslide to Højesteret, and whatever decision is made at the Supreme Court is final. There could be questions about that. 16 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Plug these knowledge gaps. You will be seeing this again. Next one. RA is back in the game, 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Katerina is back in the top 5. All right, so there are 5 regions in Denmark. Sometimes they ask about the names of those regions. I don't know those names off the top of my head. So please, there are 5 regions. Make a list of those regions, the names of those regions, because you will be seeing these questions again. Well, questions connected to the regions. 13 of you got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Please plug that knowledge gap. On to the next one. It's a static top 5. Sonia is back with an answer streak of 3, and she's on fire.
She's on fire!
All right, next one. All right, only 3 people got this wrong.
Great job.
All right. So these fellas came. That's the Danish Commonwealth. It's made up of Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. That's it. There's not much else to say about that. It's 3 countries, Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. Plug the knowledge gap for the 3 people that got that wrong. Viking is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
On to the next one. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, not too bad. Only 12 people got this wrong. So 1973. So this was the year that Denmark joined the EU. It's also the year where the so-called landslide elections happened. And what happened was, before 1973, Danish politics was dominated by just a handful of parties. In 1973, this election happened where a lot of protest parties got voted into parliament. Coincidentally, none of those parties still exist in parliament. However, Denmark is one of the few countries that has over 10 parties in parliament. So they're, unlike the States and the UK, for instance, where it's usually 2 parties that dominate the whole of politics. So this was a pivotal point in Danish political history. And as you can tell, this is also a frequently asked question. So you will probably see this again. For the 12 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Claudia is back with an answer streak of 3, and she's on fire.
She's on fire.
All right, next one. Claudia, it's okay, as long as you know the right answer, but you can't change it in the Kahoot. However, in the exam, it's pen and paper, so you can change it. All right, 10 people got this wrong. So Volkskamperbevægelsen, the Red Stocking movement, was an international movement that was campaigning for equal rights between men and women. And this was, it came to Denmark in the 1970s. All right, on to the next one. Olga is back with an answer streak of 3.
She's on fire.
On to the next one. Anna is still holding number 1 spot. All right, 11 people got this wrong. As you can tell, 1973 is a very important year. It was in 1973 that Denmark joined the EU. It was also in 1973 where the landslide elections happened. It was also in 1973 where abortion was allowed in Denmark. And I think in 1973 was that the same year that the Queen inherited the throne? I think that was the year, because she celebrated her 50th anniversary this year. Was it last year? Can't remember. Anyways, if I'm wrong, please just cross-check that. By the way, don't take, I'm not the holy grail of all the information. All the information is in the book, so have a look. But 1973 is a very important year in Danish history. On to the next one. All right, 4 players just hit an answer streak of 17.
Excellent.
All right, yes, Anna. It was 1972 when she inherited the throne. So scratch what I just said. All right. At the moment, we have Anna, Dracula, Ceci, Katerina, and MN in the top 5. Anna, Dracula, and Ceci on the podium at the moment, but is that going to last? There's only one way to find out. On to the next one. All right, so the last change in Grundloven happened in 1953. And the change was to allow a woman to inherit the throne. And that's how come Margaret II is on the throne. So Grundloven was changed in 1953. And 19 years later, Margaret II inherited the throne. FAQ, frequently asked question. Static top 5. Rue is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
On to the next one. Wow, this was bad. Okay, 22 people got this wrong, 30 people got this right. So, according to Grundloven, which is the Constitution of Denmark, power is split 3 ways. There is a legislative power, an executive power, and a judiciary power. The legislative power is shared with the government and the parliament, so Folketing and regering. Executive power belongs to the government, and the judiciary belongs to the courts. This question can be asked in several different ways. This is one of the ways, but this, yeah, I don't even know what to say here, but yeah, this is a frequently asked question. And I can tell this is a super weak spot. Almost half of you got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. Better to fail it here than in the exam. All right, on to the next one. Static top 5. 77 is the highest climber, up 4 places.
Excellent.
Next one, we are halfway through now. Okay, so 6 people got this wrong. Round of applause. That was for the ones that got it right. So Folketing Committee. So in Parliament, there are these parliamentary committees that are formed, and the people that are members of those committees have to be members of Parliament. So for instance, there is a Parliament for Oelening, and the chairman of that Parliament is from, I can't remember what party he's from, but there's all these, you know, there's one for finance. What usually it's split according to the ministries. And it's only people that are members of Parliament that can be members of those committees. On to the next one. Davis is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my, he's on fire!
The static top 5, nothing is happening. Okay, so most of the governments since World War II have been minority governments. And what that means is that most of the governments were made up of a party or a combination of parties that did not have a majority in parliament when you combine them. However, the current government, so Mette Fredriksen's second government, is made up, it's actually a majority government. So this is one of the first times this has happened since World War II. And that's because it's made up of the Social Democrats, which has 50 seats, the moderates, and Venstre. So you have, when you combine them, though they have a majority of the seats in parliament. And she said that she wanted to make a government across the middle, and she actually did it. It's working so far so good. There haven't been any major disagreements in that government so far. 16 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. This is frequently asked. You're going to see this again. All right, moving on to the next one. Moon is back in the game, and she's on fire with 3 in a row.
She's on fire.
Okay, so we have 21 questions to go. Okay, you have to be at least 18 to be able to vote in the parliament elections. I mean, well, not coincidentally, you also have to be 18 to be eligible to be voted into parliament. So, and you have to be at least 18 to be married in Denmark. So the age 18 is very important in Denmark. You're going to see that age popping up in many different places. 7 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Anna messed that one up and lost the number 1 spot. Sorry. Dracula is now number 1, Ceci at number 2, Katerina 3, MN 4, AG 5. Rue is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
20 questions to go. All right, so for you to get a seat in parliament or to get some kind of mandate in parliament, you have to have at least 2% of the vote. And if you don't have 2%, then you're not going to get in. 12 people got that wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. Static top 5. Luca is back with an answer streak of 3.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Uh-oh.
Let's see how you guys do on this. Okay, not bad. Only 8 people got this wrong. There are 98 communes in Denmark, 5 regions. On to the next one. Static top 5. Mesh is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire! Great job.
We talked about this. I actually gave away the answer to this, but let's see if any of you is listening. Okay, it's 80 to 89, but actually it's 80 to 90%. Like I said before, so Folketing has the highest voter turnout, followed by communal and regional elections, and then followed by the European Parliament elections. Only 6 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Better to get it wrong here than in the exam. Next one. Static top 5. 3 players reached an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
You win.
Wow.
Perfect score.
Round of applause. Yes, man. I've been waiting for this.
Excellent.
Okay, now, do I give an explosion because everyone got this right? We are past the halfway mark. Should I? You know what? I think you guys deserve this. Great job. So that's everybody got this right. I'm already seeing improvements. This is really good. And you know, the funny thing is, like, as we keep practicing, you see more and more and more of the questions will look like this. On to the next one. Static top 5. Victoria is back with an answer streak of 3, and she's on fire.
She's on fire.
Okay. I already gave this away. Let's see if you guys can do it again. You get an explosion as well. Oh man. Yes, 2 people weren't listening. Okay, so I'll repeat. Focusing elections, so parliament elections, once every 4 years. Regional and communal elections once every 4 years. European Parliament elections once every 5 years. Okay? Like I said, you will see this again. 2 people got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. On to the next one. Okay, Bear is back with an answer streak of 3, and
she's on fire.
We've got 15 questions to go. Okay, so Adam Oehlenschläger wrote Denmark's national anthem in 1819. Der et undigt land. Frequently asked question, you will be seeing this yet again. Not much to say about this. 7 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap. Next one. Static top 5, not much is happening. Tough round. 3 players lost the answer streak of 3. So this was a semi-combo breaker. Sorry, guys. We've got 14 questions to go and we're done with this. I told you guys about this already. Let's see if you guys were actually listening. Oh man, only one person got this wrong. Okay, so 179 members of parliament, 175 from Denmark, 2 from Greenland, 2 from the Faroe Islands. Now, sometimes they ask a question that combines the 2. Case in point, this question, it's asking about Greenland and the Faroe Islands, but sometimes they only ask questions about the Faroe Islands or questions just about Greenland. In that case, the answer is 2. So read the question slowly. Okay, I'll say that again. Make sure you read the question slowly so that you understand what the question is asking. Then you go ahead and read the answer slowly so that you understand what the answers are, and then you go ahead and choose the right answer. I'm saying this because I think I mentioned this on the first practice session we did. In 2019, I made that mistake. There was a question, so I just read through it really quickly, and I saw the date 1849, and in my mind I was like, of course that's Grundlov. So I went and I looked at the answers, and I saw Grundlov, and I marked the answer, and I failed that question because I didn't read it correctly. The question was, up until 1849, what was the law in Denmark? But I read it as, what law was Denmark? I'm sorry, what year did Denmark get Grundlov? So I messed that whole thing up. So please don't mess up like I did. Luckily, I still passed the test. But yes, on to the next one. Okay, so so Dracula has 100%.
Perfect score.
Dracula is number 1. And Dracula is on fire. So Dracula gets an explosion. All right, so we're now beginning to see the potential superstars for this season. Round of applause, man. Next one. Okay, 7 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. So it's only members of the church that pay church tax, not everyone. On to the next one. Can't remember who fell out. Abdullah is now in there. Ellie is back with an answer streak of 3.
She's on fire.
Next one. We're almost done. Oh man, only one person got this wrong. All right, it's Grundtvig. He is very important, especially where the Folke High School is concerned. You will see this name pop up over and over again. For the one person that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Next one. It's a static top 5. 4 players reach an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
On to the next one. Let's see how you guys do on this. Okay, so one of these things, please. So there is an obligation to have some kind of training or education for at least 10 years in Denmark, every single person here. 14 people got this wrong. This is a frequently asked question. So, well, now you know what you don't know. It's 10 years. I think it used to be 7, but that was changed in the 1800s or something. That information was removed from the book. I don't know why I'm mentioning it. But anyways, moving on to the next one. We have question number 35. We only have 10 questions left. It's a static top 5. Lonnie is the highest climber, up 3 places.
Great job.
Next one. All right, so Andelsbevelsen. So this happened in the second half of the 1800s. Can't remember the exact date, but the farmers, this was the beginning of the co-op movement in Denmark. And the farmers pooled their resources and started dairies. Coincidentally, Arla, so Arla, the dairy company, so the company that produces a lot of milk here in Denmark, is the oldest co-op company. It's, I think, is it still a co-op company? I'm not sure, but it dates all the way back to that time. Is it 1814? I can't remember. Please check the book for that date because sometimes they ask specifically for the date. All right, 14 people got this wrong. On to the next one. That is a frequently asked question. This messed up that top 5. Sorry, guys. Rue is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
She's on fire.
I don't know if it's a she or a he, actually. So,
Excellent.
great job.
Great job.
Okay, at the moment we have Dracula, Abdullah, Anna on the podium. We've got MN and Nikki at number 4 and 5. We've got 9 questions to go. This was in the Kahoot on Sunday. Okay, so 19 people got this wrong. 32 got this right. This from the Kahoot. This was from the Kahoot on Sunday. So Cancelagel for Leo. So the Cancelagel settlement. So the backstory, the context for this is the Great Depression that started in 1929. So in 1929, the stock market crashed in the United States, and of course that had a ripple effect around the world. And Thorvald Stauning was prime minister in Denmark at the time, and he was the one that brokered this settlement. And I think there was a settlement where the workers could not go on strikes and the employers could not fire people, something along those lines. But that was the settlement, and that helped the Danish labor market at the time. All right. Yeah, there's not much else to be said about this. 19 people got this wrong. This is a frequently asked question. You're definitely going to see this again. Okay, so that was a combo breaker. Dracula, Anna, MN now on the podium. 77. Number 4, and Tanker at number 5. All right, so 4 players just hit a streak of 15. Wow.
Excellent.
You've got 18 questions to go. Is it 18? No, 8 questions to go. Let's see how you guys do on this. Ah, man. Almost perfect. Round of applause. So, in 1949, NATO was created and Denmark joined NATO the same year. NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is a defense alliance between the member countries. So the agreement is that if any one of those member countries is attacked, then all of the member countries come to its defense. This has something to do with what's actually currently going on in Ukraine. Ukraine has been trying to join the EU and NATO for a while. And yeah, Article 5 is it the Musketeers article or something like that? But anyways, yeah. So this has something to do with what's actually going on in with the war in Ukraine. I'm not going to elaborate on that. I think you guys know much more than I do. Okay, moving on to the next one. 2 people got that wrong. Tanker is climbing the charts. 8 players just hit an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
We've got 7 questions to go. Everyone should know this. Every single one of these questions is a frequently asked question. All right, so 8 people got this wrong. The Parliament building is Christiansborg. And, well, there's not much else to say about that. That's where it is. It's in Christianshavn. 8 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Plug that knowledge gap. 77 is out of the top 5. Ceci is back. 77 has the highest answer streak of 39. Wow. Okay.
Perfect score.
Next one. Yeah, I already told you this. Please get this right. I want to give you guys another explosion. Ah, man, come on. Someone pulling my legs. Anyways, it was almost perfect. Round of applause. Okay, so we've got 5 questions to go. Static. Oh, I was about to say static top 5. Tanker is now on the podium. Junior is now in the top 5. Viking is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
5 questions to go. Talked about this. Okay, so this is a weak spot. 24 people got this wrong. Almost half of you got this wrong. This was in the previous Kahoot. I will explain. So the Folketing's Ombudsman is an independent public authority that serves as a watchdog on the side of the public. It serves as a watchdog that checks if there is any mistakes or negligence in case handling within any of the public authorities. So let me see if I can give an example. Man, I don't have any examples right now. I'll come better prepared next time. But as you can tell, as you can see, this is a frequently asked question. Almost half of you got this wrong. Go to the section of the book that talks about this, read up on it, and make sure you get it right the next time. All right, we're almost at the end now. Static top 5. Sama is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
She's on fire.
Next one. So the responsibilities of the region, the commune, and the state. Make a list of those responsibilities because they could ask about any one of them. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. This is good, man. Round of applause. Okay, so Junior now in the top 5. 77 is back again. TR is back in the game.
Excellent.
Okay, we've got 3 questions to go. Before we go to the 3 questions, I wanted to mention something. Okay, so this test has 45 questions. Out of those 45 questions, there's 35 history questions. Now, within those history questions, there's a mixture of frequently asked questions and new questions, okay? Now, how do we approach this training? I try to train you on the frequently asked questions, which is what we're doing right now, okay? So I'm exposing you to all the questions that could come out again within the frequently asked questions section of the history section of the exam. I know I said section a lot there, but please bear with me. And then within the history section, there are also questions that you've never seen before. Now, this is where the quizzes on the website come in. Okay? And I'll just show you what I mean. So if you go to nearlydanish.com, right, and you go to Capital 1, and you take the first quiz, you see this thing that says potential new question. Okay? So this is a question that has not shown up in any one of the tests. And it could show up. So there's a lot of these types of questions. And then when you come across questions that have shown up in the test before, you'll see something like, let me see if I can actually quickly find something. This, yes, you'll see this has shown up in one test. Okay? So the website actually annotates all the questions as questions that have shown up before in a test and questions that might show up. And over the years, the pattern has been that the number of new questions keeps going up. So in 2020, November 2022, more than half of the history questions were new questions. And that's why that exam was really hard and a lot of people failed it. In May 2023, it was actually an easier test because only 10 or 11 of the questions were new questions. The rest were questions that had shown up in the previous tests. So if you drill yourself on all the frequently asked questions and drill yourself on all the potential new questions, you will pass this exam. And of course, you know, the current affairs and the Danish values, you have to drill yourself in those as well. Like I said, I'm going to get to the Danish values. There's a whole video, a whole section on that. Current affairs, there's themes. And as we're going through the previous tests, I will be discussing those themes. This is only the 3rd session. So please keep coming back, okay? Because if you stay consistent with coming to these sessions, that's when you're going to get the most value. Because all of a sudden, you will see, like, the pattern just drops. You will see it. Okay? And that's how I passed this test, actually. I'm a computer programmer, so I kind of think in patterns, right? So when I saw the pattern, I was like, ah, okay, I see it. Now, why is there a pattern? Think about it. The Danish government wants you to know very specific things about Denmark. Okay? So the date of Grundloven, the right of women to vote, the year that Denmark joined the EU, these things are frozen in time. And they're important dates. And the exam is just for you to get to know these things. So you get to know the country that you're trying to become a citizen of. Okay? That's my speech done. We're moving on. We've got 3 questions and we're done. Next one. Okay, so this is definitely a hard one for you guys. Okay, so DA is called Dansk Arbejdsgiverne. So this is about collective bargaining. The way, okay, in Denmark there's no minimum wage. So how are the wages determined? They're determined by collective bargaining. Now, in collective bargaining, there are different parties that represent different sets of people. So there's a group that represents the Arbejdsgiverne, so the employers, and there's a group that represents the employees. So DA is, there's many of these Arbeitsgeber organizations, but DA is the biggest one. And all the other organizations are members of DA. So DA, they come in to the collective bargaining to represent the employers. Then there's the FH. So it's Fowley, I can't remember the exact name. FH comes to represent the employees. And they do the collective bargaining, and that's how they decide, okay, this is how much the people that work. For instance, there's collective bargaining. There was collective bargaining in the IT sector, and it was agreed that all the salaries would go up by 2% or something along those lines. I can't exactly remember, but keep that in mind. Okay, so this is how the Danish labor market works, and it's quite it's different from, say, for instance, the UK, where there is a minimum wage by law. In Denmark, there is no minimum wage by law. All right, I hope that made sense. If it didn't make sense, have a look in the book. It explains it better than I do. All right, 2 questions to go. This Dracula guy, man, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Wow. Stefan, that's you? Round of applause, man. Okay, Dracula is number 1. Dracula has a perfect score.
Perfect score.
And Dracula is on fire, so Dracula gets an explosion. Okay, you were number 27 the first time. You see, this is improvement, man. This is what I'm talking about. You know, if you don't do well here, go back, lick your wounds, practice, and come back. Before you know it, you'll be in the top 5 at number 1, getting 100% on all the quizzes. And I tell you, if you can get 100% on every single one of the quizzes on that website, bro, you're gonna pass this test. I'm telling you. Anyways, moving on. We've got 2 questions left. Okay, so are you obligated to be a member of a Fagforening if you are an employee? And the answer is no, you're not obligated. 8 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Last question. Okay, so at the moment we have Dracula, Anna Tanker Jr. and 77. Katerina is back with an answer streak of 3.
She's on fire.
Okay, on to the next one. Last one. I gave this away already. Okay, so it's an agreement between the Fagforenings and the Arbeitsgeber organization, which is exactly what I mentioned, right? So it's an agreement between FH and DA, Dansk Arbejdsgiverne, and FH. Can't remember exactly what that FH stands for. So it's the explanation I was trying to give you guys the last time. Okay, so that's it. That's it for tonight for the InfoSats poem. Let's have a look at the podium. 5 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. You are definitely going to see this question again. So keep that in mind. This is frequently asked questions part 1. So these questions are the questions that have the highest possibility of showing up. We are going to be doing part 2 on, today is what? Wednesday. We'll do part 2 on Sunday. We'll get through all the frequently asked questions, cahoots, and then we start with the previous exams again. And I hope that you guys will also be practicing with the quizzes on the websites to cover the potential new questions. Okay, it's all going to start making sense. Keep coming to the Kahoot sessions, keep practicing with the quizzes, when you're not at the coude. And this feedback loop just keeps getting better and better, better and better before you know it. And trust me on this, you're going to go to the test and you'll be done in 5 minutes. On to the next one. Sorry, it's the podium. Yeah, File Bevelson's whole organization, yes. All right, Tanka at number 3, Anna at number 2, and Dracula at number 1. We've got Junior and 77 at number 4 and 5.
NearlyDanish.com.